to determine which brackets you will need for your installation. The Sentry gate opener is supplied with universal brackets that can mount on either round or square hinge posts that range in size from 2 3/8 inches to 6 inches. You will not need some of the pieces we've included in the kit for your installation. Follow these steps to help you identify which brackets you will need for the installation. Number 1. Is the hinge post round or square? A square post will use the square post flush mount bracket that looks like this. A round post will use the round post flush mount bracket. Next, is the gate a lightweight farm gate? If so, use the gate support brackets while attaching the gate bracket so that the bolts can be securely tightened. It's important to note that you can mount the universal bracket in several different positions. Remember, the universal actuator bracket must be securely installed, and welding is the strongest method. If you don't have access to a welder, and you need to use the provided fasteners, US Automatic strongly recommends you drill holes through your hinge post and mount your carriage bolts through those holes, like you see here. This will give you the most secure installation. Even if you can tightly clamp the universal bracket to the hinge post, we still recommend drilling through the post and installing a third bolt to prevent twisting. This is especially important on round hinge posts. Remember, the most important step for a successful gate opener installation is to properly mount the universal bracket. You must securely attach the bracket to the hinge post, and the pivot point for the rear actuator mount must be as close as possible to the specified dimensions. In all cases, the universal actuator bracket should be aligned level and centered with a horizontal gate section. If you are mounting the universal actuator bracket in a horizontal position, you need to make sure the arrow printed on the bracket is pointing toward the driveway. We recommend you install the square post flush mount bracket or the round post flush mount bracket on the opposite side of the post from the universal bracket to provide additional strength. The actuator bracket has a 3/8 inch pre-drilled hole to mount it to the linear actuator. This is also the pivot point for the linear actuator. For the pull to open installation, the pre-drilled hole must be located 5 inches behind the gate hinge and 8 inches to the inside of the property. For the push to open installation, the pre-drilled hole must be located 7 inches in front of the gate hinge and 4 inches to the drive side of the hinge. These dimensions are measured from the center or pivot point of the gate hinge. Use these dimensions as a general guide to help you place the pivot point in the correct position. It is important that you understand the purpose of these dimensions, which is to establish enough offset in the rear actuator pivot point so it will allow the gate to close from the open position. No matter which way you decide to install the actuator bracket and the universal actuator bracket, the pivot point must be located in approximately this position for a pull to open installation. Remember, no matter which way your gate will open, you need to measure the dimensions from the gate hinge center, which is your gate's pivot point. The actuator can be mounted in 2 different positions. Installing the actuator on its side will allow you to hide it behind a cross member in the gate frame. Caution: if you mount the actuator on its side, make sure the actuator case does not come in contact with any objects. Mount the actuator so that the wide part of the motor case and the cable is away from the gate. When determining where you will mount the universal actuator bracket on the hinge post, you must also consider where you will connect the gate bracket to the gate. Once you determine the location for the universal actuator bracket, you need to verify that you can install the gate bracket to the gate so the linear actuator is level. Remember, it is imperative that you install the linear actuator level.